everyone! Right, you gotta have high energy, right? 1 week since James Raffone from the jarofhope.org was here.
Seen him yesterday.
You saw him yesterday on
Starbucks, buddy.
Did you really? He's leaving to New Zealand today. Best of luck to you, James. All right, on your journey, 200 miles, and then he's gonna fly someplace else to go run 100 miles. He's doing 300 miles in 2 weeks, which is amazing. So I just want to get a little bit of feedback, and it's not for that. I just, you know, I know how I feel about that whole meeting. You know, it was very heartfelt. You know, there was some moments where I was pacing back here because I couldn't, you know, kind of compose myself. It was emotional for me. But what was your greatest takeaway, Dexter?
The meeting with James.
Give me one thing that was like that you felt was a good takeaway for you.
It's never good to give up because you know you could make stuff last longer just by trying harder.
Yeah. Never give up. Try hard. Chris?
Don't let anyone tell you can't do something.
Don't ever let anyone tell you can't do anything. Troy?
Makes you step back and look at what the real big picture is. Makes you rethink everything you're doing today, to be honest.
Yeah. I agree with that, and I'll come back to that in a sec. Phil?
Not care what people think about you because, like he said, his friends probably think he's crazy and, you know, telling him he should be spending time with his kid, but he's got a mission and he's determined and he's not letting that kind of get to him. That's it out.
We'll come back to that one too.
Making the impossible possible.
Making the impossible possible. Richard?
Don't take everything for granted.
Don't take anything for granted, right? Peterson?
Exactly.
What was your takeaway?
Just say one thing.
Could be anything.
Don't take life for granted.
Yeah, don't take life for granted. Some people,
He freaking hides behind the desk after he says it too. Go ahead. No, your own thing. Go.
basically, when you sometimes don't let things get over you because some people get it worse. At least we walk in.
There are people out there that have it worse,
Yes.
right? Don't take, you know. Say again.
Don't take life for granted.
Don't take life for granted. But I like your point. You know, it's sometimes we think our situation is so bad,
and then
somebody else has experienced something worse, and it's like, what the hell am I upset
and
about?
some people
You know,
fighting for their life. At least I'm here, I'm breathing.
right?
You know.
Some people are fighting for their life. Victor, life is too damn short. I love it. David,
Don't take things for granted.
don't take things for granted. Jazz,
As I said, we might have it bad, but we don't know someone else is having it worse than us. So
We don't know
look
what-
at someone, you don't know what that person is going through.
we don't know what someone else is going through. Usman,
Have the courage to challenge your worst fears.
have the courage to challenge your worst fear. Yeah, I love that one. And James kind of put it like the fear of me losing my son is greater than the fear of me dying myself or me putting my body through something. So yeah, it's your success is on the other end of your fear. Go.
The journey, the fight, the struggle.
The journey, the fight, the process, right?
From the start to the finish. And it lets you know there's never an ending to it. You
Right.
always keep going.
There's always something more
Mhm.
past what you want, right? Or what you need, or where you're going.
Appreciation. Appreciate what you have.
Appreciate
While
what you
you
have.
have it.
Right. Gratitude. Sharika? Just do it, right? Just do it. Whatever you're facing, just do it, right? And we prove to ourselves all the time that whatever we fear, whatever we're afraid of, or whatever we thought was an obstacle isn't that bad once we get past it. You know, we prove that all the time. Larry?
I would say, don't worry about who thinks what about you. Believe in you.
Forget about what people think. Focus on what you think, right? That's I like to call well, it's like David Goggins calls it the accountability mirror. Looking at yourself in the mirror, asking a question, and then expecting an answer in return. right? And that's it. That your opinion is the only opinion that matters.
Never give up and be thankful what you have.
How about Netflix?
You have to have.
Never give up. That was, I mean, I have so many great takeaways, but all of what you spoke about kind of tie into what I want to speak about today. So just real quick, we wanted to come back to yours. What was yours again?
Step back.
Taking a step back, right? Taking a step back and kind of just getting the full picture, because sometimes we're way too close to situations to solve them, right? So we got to sometimes take ourselves out of the equation, right? You could be interacting with a customer and you're bumping heads and things are not going right, and sometimes you just need to walk away, regroup, maybe get a second face in there to kind of level things out, right? Like some people go speak to psychiatrists or psychologists when they're having situations. You could be having trouble with your children, and you know what? You're too close to that situation. You got to take a step back, and you have to allow someone else to intervene because you're just too close to it, you know? So taking that step back, reflecting, allows you to see the bigger picture. Yours was?
Mine was not to let, don't care what people think about you, because when you have a decision like that to make, it's easy to get discouraged if somebody's in the air saying, what are you doing, why are you traveling, where you going with all this stuff, should be spending time with your kid, you know? So
100%. And when I talk about that, I talk about like your dreams, your ideas, your goals, and I say things like, don't share them with anyone. Because what's going to usually happen is people are going to impress upon you their opinion or their own experiences, right? So if it didn't work for them or they failed, they're going to encourage you that it's not the right thing to do. But you are you, right? So my topic today is we become what we think about. And if you think about that, it's the thoughts that we put in our head and what we manifest, negative or positive, we become those things. You know, and they did a study with drivers. If a driver is driving and he lost control of his car, right, and he started to look at what he was going to hit, 99.9% of the time, they hit what they were focused on, right? And Earl Nightingale puts this the best. He compares the mind to fertile land. So he says, I'm going to talk about a subject that parallels the human mind. And it's your brain and some fertile land. So a farmer has an option to plant whatever he wants into his fertile land. So he gives two scenarios. He goes, one is a deadly poison called nightshade, and the other is corn. So the farmer walks over to that fertile land, plants his seeds, both nightshade, both corn, waters it, allows it to be under the sun, and what happens to both of them? They both grow. Now the ground doesn't know what you plant in it, but it's going to return back to you what you put in. So you reap what you sow. Our brains are the same way. Negative thoughts, negative outcome. Positive thoughts, positive outcome. And once again, when I go back to James Raffone, the jarofhope.org, right? I go back to his situation. He gave an example. He was at work one day after he found out his son was terminally ill. He went to work, and he was a construction guy. He poured concrete, he did renovations, he built buildings, right? So he's at this job site, and all the people are doing inside were bickering. Oh, I don't like the color. Repaint it. I want a discount. I want this. And he just took a step back and said, my kid's home dying, and all these people care about is what color the wall is, or how much they could save, or what someone else can do for them. And my kid is at home dying. Screw this. I'm done. And he went and formed the jarofhope.org. For what we focus on. What is our focus? That's what we manifest in our head. And I won't say I'm the most positive person in the world, but I try to bring positivity everywhere I possibly can. And I know sometimes it's hard for me to be positive in certain situations, right? But those are the situations where we as humans have to make a decision. Can I continue and deal with a few things, take a few punches, take a few blows to the gut, right? And get to the other side of what I believe can work? Or do I just end it here and go do what I want to do someplace else? Like if your neighborhood is not the right neighborhood for you and your family, you have two options. You can change the neighborhood, or you can change that environment. Right? But we can't walk around talking about how bad it is, because what we reap is what we sow. What thoughts we put out into the universe, what we think, come to fruition. You know, I say this whole thing, right? I don't want to talk about politics, but I hear people talking like on social media and in person, and they talk about the most negative things, right? They talk about like racism, and they talk about sexism and all of these things, right? And I don't want to say that they don't exist. But what I do want to say is when we talk about those things, we give them fire. We allow them to breathe and to freaking manifest and to become greater. And I was brought up, my mother told me, hey, if someone says something to you, you don't like what they say, do what? Ignore them.
I'm sorry.
Ignore them. And there was one kid that said, punch him in the face, right? And then he wound up in juvie. No, yeah. And then after juvie, he wound up in jail, right? There's always a better way to handle a situation. And it's not by physical force. We've been given the #1 most lethal tool in the world. What is that?
Silence.
A brain. A brain. This tool that freaking can calculate, and we only use less than 10% of it, by the way. You tell me where the other 90% is going. You know, and I think about things like that. It just like gets me nuts. But we become what we think about. So we have choices, right? We can choose to improve our environment, or we can choose to change the environment, right? And some of the things that we have to think about. So what we focus on, we manifest, we become. Got to take ownership of that statement, right? And then apply it in your life however you possibly can. So here we are Saturday, right? President's Day weekend. President's Day is Monday. We got some great deals. There were some extra incentives that were put on certain vehicles, right? What are one of the incentives? Pilots get an extra $1,000. Pilots get $1,000, right? So we make a few more bucks.
Just for the weekend?
What?
Just for the weekend?
Just through the weekend, yeah. We got a few extra bucks on Civics, a few extra bucks on Accords. Nothing great, but we can make a payment $10 better per month. So maybe a deal we couldn't make a few days ago is now possible. We're delivering an 18 Honda Accord 1.5 Touring today, right? If I don't deliver it today, you'll deliver it Monday, right? But those cars are diamonds. Those cars are diamonds because the price point is great on the car. We also have about 11 Clarities, which no one has. So once again, opportunity. You guys got spins, right? Still on Clarities? Mm-hmm. Got spins. You have $13,000 in incentives. You can do anything with that money, right? You can unbury someone who's in a car that they want out of. You can lower someone's monthly payment. Or you could just earn the income that you're entitled to. Right? Profit's not a bad word. You have the ability, right? So knowing the programs, knowing what's out there should give you the advantage. So do me a favor on the printer. I printed some stuff. I just want to grab, it's the one under the desk. So you have to know what's out there. You have to know what's available so that you can become consultants. Customers walk through those doors. You should be able to say, hi, how you doing? My name's Chris. Welcome to Plaza Honda. Your name is? Great. So who's the lucky one? Is the car for you or someone else? What does that question give you?
The decision maker.
The decision maker. Is it a special occasion or you just want and deserve a new vehicle? What does that give you?
Motivation.
The motivation. The reason. What is someone going to say to that? Oh, my lease is due back. My car broke down. My family's growing. I got a new job. I want to reward myself. There's your motivation. We know who the decision maker is. We know what the motivation is. Those two elements make it a deal. Now build value, build rapport. Where are the printouts?
You check the printer under the desk?
Under the desk. How about behind it, behind the podium? Nothing? It's a stack of papers. I want to give you guys a visual. Nothing. All right. When we're done the meeting, just come there. I want to show you. It's a printout of the dashboard of AutoAlert. Who's familiar with AutoAlert? Who believes that AutoAlert is the best tool made in the car business?
I like it.
Dexter? No?
Yeah.
AutoAlert?
Give me one second, there's a customer texting.
Most amazing tool. Duty calls. I got it. Don't worry. He's not texting anybody else other than a customer. Right? AutoAlert, most amazing tool made in the car industry. It's not a CRM, it's a CXM. Does anyone know what CXM stands for? Customer Experience Manager. That's what CXM stands for. So the software is cognitive, right? It learns certain things in our system and that looks for certain things that we set up. There's certain algorithms that we set up in the system that creates alerts for us. For instance, a customer's lease or finance is about to expire, it creates an alert for that. A customer is about to come due on their warranty, it creates alerts for that. A customer is in an equity position, means that their car is worth $20,000 and they owe $18,000, there's $2,000 in equity. It creates all of those opportunities. We have a total of 5,846 alerts in there, and that's a combination of people in equity, people out of warranty, and people whose contracts are due to expire. Now, Amy and I have been really working it in the sense that watching every single person that comes into the service drive. And it's real simple. It shows you when a repair order has been opened. It shows you what they're currently paying. It shows you what their interest rate is. It shows you the vehicle they're driving and what they can go into. Who knows all those features? Okay. Who is comfortable working in the system? Raise your hand. Okay. I want everybody to use it. I want that to be the first desking type tool you use. Has everyone ever tried that? Has everyone ever tried printing a proposal from there? Okay. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it was effective.
Why?
Why?
What do you like about it?
Well, I stopped using it, but at the beginning when we first implemented, I saw it. I was the king of AutoAlert.
King of AutoAlert. All right, you're going to become the king of AutoAlert again. Okay? It's the most low-hanging fruit you could possibly get. You know, if you looked at AutoAlert as a live dashboard of ups walking through your door, that's exactly what it is. Customer comes into the service drive, or even a customer that walks into the showroom. You can take their phone number, put it into the system, pull up what they're currently driving, what their interest is, what their payment is, and you could make that recommendation. Let me tell you what else you can do. If they're driving a Honda Accord LX, it matches them to a Honda Accord LX. But if you scroll down a little bit, you can change the vehicle to a Honda Accord EXL, or an EX, or an EXL. So do you have to leave your desk to get them a price on another vehicle? No. Would the managers have a problem with you giving them a price based on how the system is set up? You know what you just did? What did you just do by being able to sit at your desk?
Save time.
Save time. For who?
For the customer. For us.
For the customer.
Build trust.
You know what the largest complaint and the largest drop-off of conversion is for customers purchasing a car from a salesperson is? You know what their biggest, what time? The time spent away from them. The time spent away from them. So in the few minutes that we have to walk up to the desk and wait for the desk manager to finish doing what he's doing and finally get your story out, it's at least minimum 10 to 20 minutes. The conversion drops by 26%. That means your chances of closing that customer is 26% less. What's the customer doing while you're away?
On the phone, checking the pricing.
Number one, talking themselves out of a deal. Talking themselves out of a deal. I'm going to give you an experience, right? So I'm looking for another apartment right now, right? Because I need more room. So you walk into these apartments, it's like, wow, it's got the amenities I'm looking for. It's got this, it's got that. Bigger, nice, right? Great area. Great. Oh man, I'm so excited, right? When I get home, what happens? I start looking at my view. Wow, I can see New York. I can see the water, right? I really like my building. I really like where I am. What am I doing right now? Talking myself out of moving, right? But then I go back. But then I go back, and I start to like the things again, right? Our customers are the same way. Customers are the same way. You want to get it while it's hot. When someone is excited, right, and this is the last thing I'm going to say on this subject, motivations come and go. They come and go. For a moment, we see something, we're excited about it, we want to do it, and then when we realize what we actually have to do to get it done, we're like, I didn't really want to do that anyway. You mean I actually got to pack up my entire house and go move to this place? And I really like my view. So what, we bump into each other every 3 seconds, right? Motivations come and go. That's why we need to set our goals, plan, and follow the steps. How many of you are still on the 9-day challenge? Raise your hand. Okay. 3 people out of everyone. And now, oh, you're here too, right? You're in it too. Okay. 4 people, excuse me. But we were kind of excited about it, and then we just lost. Some of you said you're doing it, right, for certain reasons. But some of you were really excited about it, and then we lost the excitement. And the people that stuck with it, where do you stand with the 90-day challenge right now?
Lost 10 pounds.
You lost 10 pounds. How do you feel?
Amazing.
You know what I mean? Like, for me, it doesn't matter. If it's one person that benefited from it, I'm grateful for that. I'm happy he got something out of it. But that's a small percentage of us. So we got to think about those things, right? And we have to figure out what we want to do. It goes back to looking in the mirror. It goes back to our focus. It goes back to setting our goals, right? Taking our dreams, putting deadlines on them, creating that plan, and just walking it. Because motivations come and go. Your customers will come in excited. But the minute they go home and think about it, so the less time you spend away from them, the higher the probability of you providing them with your product and service in exchange for their money. Does that sound a deal? You're going to have a happy customer, and you're going to start to generate more profit. Because I did this last night, right? I believe almost everything that I see on the internet in terms of pricing. Why? Why do I believe pricing? Why do I believe pricing? Because I'm one click away from a better price someplace else, right? So I'm looking for flights for my wife and my daughter for next weekend. First thing I do is I go to Google, I go to flights, I check to see who might have the better. All right, United looks like it's this, Delta is this. Now I go from United, I go from Google now to United's website because I'd rather book it on the actual site. But if I get any BS on the site, I'm right back to Google. Or I'm right back to Expedia. Or I'm right back to Kayak. It's so quick. So if I'm showing the customer, hey, look what's on the internet, right? And I'm transparent in that sense, how much quicker am I going to close a deal? I'm showing them something they believe. I believe it. They do too, right? And there's another percentage, I don't know the exact percentage, that increases in your closing ratio when you use that. But the other thing we have to do is leverage the trusted source. Black Book says the car's worth $39,000. Hey, here, look, this is what Black Book says your car is worth. In great condition. Your car is in great condition, right? Well, no. Oh, it's not? Okay. It's simple. It's really simple, right? But if it doesn't work the first time, you can't stop. repetition. You got to keep going, right? We didn't sell a car in the 2 hours Amy and I spent in AutoAlert. We didn't sell a car, right? But we did set 2 appointments for today. And today, we're going to continue on it the whole day. To the point where we're just going to be generating our own traffic. Because I told Adam Rosati that we don't have to advertise anymore. Because our advertising efforts suck. And I go on record to say that. And the question I simply ask, when someone wants to cut advertising in January or February, what does that tell you? That they don't believe in it. And if you don't believe in it, then it's not working. Right? It's the only reason why you would do it, because last I checked, marketing, sales, profit. Yes? If I cut marketing, I'm not going to give you my middle finger. If I cut marketing, right, it should equal less sales, which should mean less profit. I haven't gone to school in a while, but I think that's how it works. All right? So let's have an amazing day. All right? Let's get on our phones, get on AutoAlert. If you need refreshers, let me show you a few things. Let Amy show you a few things. Let Troy show you a few things, just to make you sharper. Because the less time you spend away from your customer, the better off we're all going to be. They're going to be happier. You're going to be happier. Great? All right, that's good.